Hello, everyone, and hello worldwide. So, thank you for joining today's webinar. And today's topic is our Thursday Q&A, Nurse Licensure. So, without further ado, I present to you our Director of Licensure and Case Management, Veg Malian. Veg, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, CJ. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure, depending on where you guys are. Kate is Director of Licensure and Case Management here at Worldwide. I'm so excited to be here in the episode of our Thursday Q&A. Um, I hope you guys are excited as I am. So, I'm going to go ahead and do my best to answer all your questions regarding licensure. But before we kick things off, I just want to give you a bit of a disclaimer. Um, U.S. boards, uh, U.S. boards of nursing update their requirements every now and then. So please note that all the answers that I will be sharing with you tonight, are based on the most up-to-date information that we have from the board. So to kick things off, if you guys can do me a favor and type your name in the comment section, tell me where you guys are from. I would be interested to know that I'm speaking with people from different locations. So again, feel free to type in your questions, and again, I'll do my best to answer them for you. All right. So if there's no question or questions yet, um, why don't I share with you the most common questions that we get from our candidates? Some of you are probably thinking that, when is the best time really to start and apply for a license? Again, that's the most common one of the most common questions that we hear from our nurse candidates, and that's a tricky one. And to be honest, there's really no standard answer to the question. But what I can tell you is that there are some things that you need to consider for you to make an informed decision really when to apply. So um, common requirements whenever you're applying for a license is for you to have your US Social Security number, exam, fingerprinting. Sometimes some of the boards will require you to have continuous education hours, visa screen, and all that stuff. So all those majority of those requirements that I've just shared will have different validity time frame. So it's really tricky that you want to make sure that your these requirements will not expire. Some of the boards will also maintain your applications active depending on them. Some boards will give you 1 year, 6 months, and I know some they will only give you 180 days um, to submit all those documents, all those requirements. And if not, they will ask you to redo the process again. And it's very, very costly and time consuming. So we have a team of licensure specialists who monitors the progression of the application of our candidates and tell them exactly when is the best time to apply so that to avoid having to do those steps or submit those requirements again. All right, so pretty much that saves our nurses money, time, unnecessary stress on getting those documents ready and submitted to the board. So um hi, hello there, Nyambezi from Zambia. Hope you're, I'm not sure what time is it there now, but good day. Uh, if you have any questions that I may be able to answer as far as license application in the US is concerned. Okay, so um, if let me go ahead and share another common commonly asked questions by our candidates while we're waiting for other participants to type in their questions. Most of our candidates are asking, what is the best English exam to take? They're applying for license. Better question should be, uh, what will the board or the state where you're applying for a license accepts? And that gives you, you know, options to decide and what exam that you need to prepare. Different boards will have different accepted English exams. Some of them will only accept TOEFL or IELTS. Some of them will accept MET, OET, and other English exams. So again, I'm not really an expert on English exams, but then again, the first thing that you have to consider whenever you're preparing for an English exam is to check the board's website. What are the English exams that they would accept if you're going to be applying for a license there? Um, Again, but also there are some boards uh, who will not require you to take an English exam for endorsement applications. But of course, in order for you to go to the US, have your visa, you need to have your visa screen certificate, wherein you will be also given list or different list of exams that they would approve, so that they can issue a visa screen certificate for you. Okay. There's one question here from Tam Sharon Mbea. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Forgive me. How about license transferability? Is it possible, for example, to transfer an NCLEX obtained in Canada to the US? That's a very good question, Tam. And the is some boards in the US considered your RN or Canada RN license as if it's also part of the US jurisdiction. So there are some boards who will allow you to apply or to your term transfer, not necessarily transfer, but you can use that license to apply for a US RN license. I hope that answers that the question, Tam. But I'm glad that you asked that question. I'm sure we have some participants or some who joined us today who might be wondering whether or not Canada NCLEX can be used to apply for a USRN license. From Joy, happy to be part of this amazing family. We're happy to have you, Joy. Thank you. Pronounce your name correctly. Town. Okay. Um, so going back to um, English. Oh, wait, before I say that. So there's a question, another question here. How long does it take? How long does the licensure process take? Very good question. I'm sure you guys are wondering how long. So there's no standard turnaround time. Different boards of nursing will have different turnaround time in terms of reviewing, evaluating your credentials, and all that stuff before they issue a license. So, generally, and again, 50 boards will have different timeline, but generally, on average, once you submit all the required documents, um, your English exam, your credentials evaluation report, your social security number. On average, it should take about 2.5 months to 3 months if there's no issue with all the with all the documents that you guys submitted. There are some situations though wherein your assigned evaluator will send you an email saying that you need to submit this. So we call it some sort of like a deficiency, whether they need to ask for an additional document about your education, employment history, and things like that. So the sooner all those the review and issue your license. But again, in general, it should take between 2.5 months to 3 months in order for the board to complete the review and issue your license. I hope that answers the question. Hi, Arlene, Henry. Good morning. Um, so there's another question here. Does retrogression affect the licensure process? Interesting, interesting. And I would like to talk more about that. And I'm sure most of you are wondering that, how will that affect how will retrogression affect the license application process? Um, it actually depends. First, if the board that you're applying for requires a social security number before they can issue a license, definitely retrogression is a factor. You can only obtain your social security number once you arrive in the US. And if your priority date is not current, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So that's why it's very, very critical for us, or for our nurses, to make sure that they initiate their application process when they already have a embassy interview and they're about to obtain their visa, so that the your application is not going to expire. Again, if it expires, you haven't submitted your socials yet, chances are you're going to redo the process all over again. You're going to have to pay all those fees required by the board, and then there. However, for those boards or SSN in your license even prior to your US arrival. But one thing that we have to consider is that up to how long that initial license will be valid. Will it be valid up until such time that we arrive in the US, we started working, then that's good. However, in the situation wherein you already obtained your license without SSN, you're still in your home country, you haven't arrived in the US yet, um, and your initial license is about to expire, then you have to renew. And there are some boards off the top of my head in Vermont. You can obtain a license without SSN. That's the initial issued license. However, if you're going to renew it, they're going to be needing you to have SSN. So you need to go to be in the US and be able to submit the social security number in your license. Some states that would allow you to renew, for example, Texas, even outside the US, you can go ahead and renew your license. And renewal is way I mean, it takes short amount of time to renew, as opposed to doing an initial application. As long as you renew it on time, um, normally the boards will send you an email if your license is about to expire. They will provide you a link how you can renew. It will also list all the documents or requirements that you have to submit, and you have to pay the fees, and then that's pretty much a very seamless process, as opposed to applying for a license by endorsement the first time. I hope that answers the question. Uh, I forgot if it was Mary. Uh, okay. Uh, Mark Joseph Nabor. Good day. Good day to you, Mark. I would like to ask about the license endorsement from New York Board of Nursing to Arizona. I was hired by one of your employer, Common Spirit Health Base in Prescott, Arizona. Yes, absolutely. If you have an active license in New York, definitely we can help you obtain a license or apply for a license by endorsement, so that you'll have a license in Arizona and be able to work in one of our facilities in Common Spirit. Okay. Uh, I'm from Ghana, a nurse as well, but currently in US for master's in nursing. Can you help me apply for EB3? Oh, um, uh, um, your name correctly. Absolutely. Um, we ha- this is more of like a recruitment question. So if you can shoot me an email, I can definitely, because I know our facilities or our client partners are sponsoring EB3 visa application whenever they sign a job offer with us. So if you can shoot me an email, um, our host can give you our email address. It's simple. It's licensure at healthstaff.org. I can definitely get someone to help you in applying for an EB3 visa. Okay. Louis Sosa. I took my NCLEX 15 years ago in the Philippines, but I'm currently working as a nurse in UK. How will I become a nurse in US, or what do I need to process to become an RN in America? Okay. So, Louis, the best answer that I can give you is that yes, that's possible. There are some boards that will accept application even if you took your NCLEX X number of years ago. So that's pretty much the first step. And once you obtain a license on that particular state, then your options are unlimited. You can apply for other for a license in all other states as long as you were able to obtain an active USRN license. I hope that answers. Do you reimburse visa screen? I'm not sure if this is something that I can answer. This may probably be different from one facility or from one client to another. But Blerando, if you can shoot me an email, shoot us an email at licensure at healthstaff.org. I can go ahead and get the answer for you. You also have another question. Apply to a board of nursing in USA. They will issue the ATT so that you can sit for NCLEX. That's true. Absolutely. Thanks for your help. Rain, is it possible to endorse license to M bond without SSN? I have an NY bond license. I'm not sure what M bond is. Rain, if you can tell me what state that is. Are you referring to Minnesota bond, Mississippi? But if you have a license, you can apply for an endorsement on all other states. As long as your New York license is active, you can go ahead. Majority of the boards and pretty much, the license endorsement application is very easy and seamless if you are holding an active license from other US states. Go ahead. Uh, there you go. Do you file for F1 without OPT with active license in the USA? Lucy, I'm gonna go ahead and do my best to answer this. I know we have a handful of candidates or clinicians who are who have visa. But the first thing that you need to really accomplish is to take NCLEX if you haven't. I know there's boards such as New York, Texas, wherein um, once you pass NCLEX, they're gonna issue you a USRN license automatically as soon as you pass NCLEX, and that's because visa type or visa application is totally kind of related but separate from applying for a license. Um, Lucy, that's good. You have taken NCLEX and passed. So Lucy, if you can send us an email at licensure at healthstaff.org, I can definitely work with our recruiting team in assisting you in finding work in the US. Um, do you allow people doing the process with another agency after passing NCLEX? That's a very interesting question, Nyembezi. So I know for a fact that some of our nurse candidates work with another agency in terms of their license application. Um, I obviously it's up to you. If you have the resource, if you have because here's how it works to my knowledge, you're gonna have to pay that agency so that they can do on your behalf. But again, we're not discouraging that this way. You're gonna pay them to license your stuff or license your application for you. However, that third party agency, they will still ask you to submit all the requirements. You're still gonna purchase your credentials evaluation report if it's required by the board that you're applying for. You're still going to have to take the English exam yourself. You're going to pay for it if that's required by the board. You have to submit their fingerprinting. You have to submit all the documents that's being required by the board. You're still going to pay them um, everything, all the costs. Uh, if that would help you expedite the process of your licensure application, then I'm gonna have to say, however, for experts who can do what I mentioned, we just need to, I mean, guide you, tell you when's the exact time, when is the best time to apply for a license so that it will not expire. You're not gonna have to incur additional cost, but we're not gonna charge you for anything. It's just pretty much our job to help our candidates make sure that every single step or every single requirement is being done perfectly timed so that it won't expire. I hope that answers the question. Follow-up question. uh do Arizona bond needs to have SSN prior license endorsement from New York board license? Arizona. If you can give me a quick second, let me go ahead and check that answer for you. So for Arizona, um, SSN is not really one of the requirements. Although it's good to have SSN, but you can obtain a license in Arizona even without SSN. They allow you to furnish an affidavit that tells that I don't have SSN yet. I'm still in the process of immigrating or migrating to the US. They will issue you a license as long as you submit an affidavit saying that you don't have a permanent residence yet in the US. So, Lucy, yes, that's the correct email. Licensure at health staff. Oh, sorry, not .com but .org. Licensure at healthstaff.org. Okay. Follow-up question, sir. I think I was able to answer that, Mark. I'm a Canadian working as a nurse. Are the licensure requirements to as easier? Well, okay. All right. I think I was able to answer that question earlier, Winston. But yes, if you have a Canadian license, we have boards of nursing in the U.S. that would accept that if you apply for endorsement using your Canadian license. Uh, Requirements to work in the licensure requirements, it differs. And unfortunately, we have like 52 boards in the United States that issue RN license. They have different set of requirements. So I'm sorry, Winston, but if you can be more specific on what particular state that you're planning to apply for a US RN license, then I can give you a more specific answer as far as requirements are concerned. Hi, Zaliki. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I am from Nepal. I have just cleared ASCPI. What should I do now? Can I apply for a job? Subkota, thank you. I really appreciate your interest applying with us. So if you can shoot me an email, I'll make sure that one of our recruitment team will reach out to you for any openings that would match your qualifications and skill set. Um, okay. Uh, Go ahead and read it. Okay. CJ, I'm gonna go ahead and send you a link. I hope you can help me share this with everyone. So on our website, we maintain an so pretty much this would tell you exactly what are the things that you need to do, answer a few questions, whether or not you have NCLEX, yes or no. And then this would give you some sort of like an option to pick for a state that you wish to apply for a license, and you should have some sort of like a PDF file that would list down all the requirements, even the fees, estimated fees that you have to prepare or you have to pay if you're going to be applying for a license. So there you go. Okay. Um, what about of nurse assistant issues? Ziliki, I'm not sure if I understand the question, nurse assistant issues, but to my knowledge, if you're referring to nurse aides or CNA hiring, I think for the time being, we're not actively recruiting nurse aides for now. What we usually recommend our nurse aide applicants is to really take NCLEX because that's going to be the fastest way for you to be able to work in the US if that's really your plan. So here's a link here that was posted by our host. It's within our worldwide website. So feel free to play with it. It's a very intuitive tool. You just need to answer whether or not you're holding a license, a single state or a multi-state. And then if state, that should give you or a PDF step-by-step instructions on how you can apply. You will see what are the requirements, whether or not you're required to take an English exam, and everything that you need to prepare in order for you to apply for that particular state. After your, that's a let me just go ahead and get this question from Phyllis. After your ETA is approved and signed, how does it take for your application to be filed to the USCIS? Okay, thank you for a very interesting question, Phyllis. I'm gonna go ahead and write this down. I'm not really an expert. I have to admit I'm not really an expert with the application filing in the USCIS, but I'm gonna have one of our senior case managers answer this question for you. So if you can send it to us, I'll make sure that you'll get an answer by tomorrow. Carol, let me go ahead and read a question from Carol. I am Zimbabwean registered with certificate in nursing. Can I be considered to work in USA as a nurse? Absolutely, Carol. Just what I said, the best path or the fastest way for you to be able to work in the US is to sit and pass NCLEX as soon as you have your first USRN license. The possibilities are endless. Again, if you're holding an active USRN license, pretty much you can apply to almost every state, and the process is going to be very seamless considering that you already have an active license. How do you navigate African nurses? I understand that the only NCLEX testing center is in Johannesburg. Would we have to pay for our flights, visas, etc. ourselves? Tam, I may need to get back to you on that. I know for a fact that there are different or a lot of testing centers worldwide, but in terms of the costs going to your nearest testing center, I'm not going to be able to promise or answer any of that. So if you can shoot me an email, I'll reach out to our team here in Worldwide and determine how we help our candidates who are aspiring to take NCLEX. Thank you. That's a very interesting question. So there you go. There's a new, I'm going to have to say, a new testing center in Kenya that you might want to consider. Of course, so you're welcome, town. Any other questions? Let me go ahead and browse my notes. I may be able to have some additional stuff. Okay. Um, I'm sure probably some of you already heard um, about the English exam in Maryland board. I know for a fact that initially they only accept IELTS and TOEFL for both their licensure by examination and endorsement application. And then they have this emergency regulation, which they implemented up until of before. Then during that, they accepted other exams such as PTE, OET, and MET. And then from April until June, they reverted it back to only accepting IELTS and TOEFL. But a couple of weeks back, we received an update from the Maryland board saying that effective June 24, all those other exams will be accepted again. So for those of you who are aspiring to work in or apply for a license in Maryland, be advised that again, effective June 24, they will be accepting IELTS, TOEFL, MET, OET, and PTE. So you have several options that you pick whichever you're confident you think you so you have those options with you. Okay. Do I need English exam if I graduated in the US and passed in the NCLEX? Lucy, thank you. That's a very interesting question. If you are educated in the US, you took your exam. Sorry, you took your nursing education in the US using obviously the medium of teaching is English, using English textbook. Most likely you're going to be exempted to take an English exam as far as endorsement application is concerned. How about for Indiana? Can we take PTE for our, let me go ahead and do that. Indiana, let me just go ahead and get back that. Faye, if you're planning to go to Indiana or work in Indiana and apply for a license there, English exam is not really required as far as endorsement application is concerned. However, if you're going to be applying for, which you will, you're going to be applying for a visa screen certificate. So yes, the answer is yes. You can take PTE because PTE is one of those exams that are accepted by CGFNS. Hillary, here's another question from Hillary. Hello, if I am a UK national and also completed my nursing degree in the UK, will I need to take the English exam? Hillary, most likely you're going to be exempted to take an English exam if you're educated in the UK. Welcome, Fernan Agustin. Sir, any idea if there's a movement for visa this coming October? Uh, Fernan, that's a very good question. And I'm sure some of you probably attended or watched the webinar we had recently about retrogression. That's what we are looking forward for, is that we are expecting another set of, you know, visas to be issued October moving forward. We're really excited. We're monitoring the visa bulletin regularly because that would really change a lot for our candidates. Priority dates are being current. They can, you know, progress with their immigration process, and together with that, the licensure piece will also move forward if their priority dates are current. So for none on this is not something all over, but we're really excited. We're looking forward for new visas to be issued in October. Thank you from Pina. This is really nice. If one has passed NCLEX already, what else are they supposed to process to meet your requirements? Leonida, to answer your question, it's not really uh, different boards will have different requirements, right? So if you already passed NCLEX, you're holding an active, unencumbered US RN license, you can apply for a license on other states. That's via endorsement. However, the only time I can give you specific requirements if you would tell me uh, what state you're planning to work in, because different states will have different set of requirements. So if you can shoot us an email at licensure@healthstaff.org, I can definitely answer your question. How about let me go ahead and check that. Okay. So wait. Miles Patricia D. Uh, Currently, as far as we know, Hawaii doesn't require candidates to take an English exam if they're applying through endorsement. Okay. But if you're gonna be taking an exam so that you can obtain a visa screen, then yes, PT will be accepted. Um, if you're educated in a non-English speaking country but did a degree in English, would I still have to do an English exam? Damn, you keep on asking very, very good questions. Um, Tam, from one board to another or from one state to another, one of the common requirements whenever you're applying for a license is you have to submit your credentials evaluations professional report. So that's pretty much there. You're gonna submit your all your credentials, documents, transcripts, educational, um, everything about your education, so that we can, I mean, so that the board can assess whether the degree that you took from your home country is equivalent to a BSN or Bachelor of Science in Nursing in the US. So the only way to answer your question is for you to tell me what exact state you're planning to go. So Tam, shoot us an email, and then I'll find out plan to work in potentially require you to take an English exam. Praying and waiting. Thank you, Fernan. Yes, we do too. What are the requirements for the camp for California board? Okay. I hope I'm gonna be pronouncing your word. Sorry, your name correctly. Yehad. So, California is very tricky. One of the major or critical requirements in California is to have a social security number. In California, you can always prepare all the documents that you have, but you will not be able to initiate or start your application only when you arrive in the US and obtain your SSM. Because the portal that you have in order for you to proceed or initiate your application is SSN. So that's one thing that you need to have if you're going to be applying for um, a license in California. Let me go ahead. Okay, all right. So last two questions. For license endorsement, is PTE accepted in Iowa? So let me go ahead and check that for you. Okay, so Iowa, to my knowledge, doesn't require English exam. Uh, Jason, but again, or obtaining our visa screen PTE is accepted. But Jason, do me a favor, send us an email at licensure at healthstaff.org. I'll be able to answer your question real quick. Uh, so good morning. Are MLs still in demand in the US? Jeffrey, are you referring to medical lab technicians? If that's your question, I'm gonna have to say yes. We are um, we have some candidates who are taking that path, MLT. So yes. Phyllis, I'm gonna go ahead and take this as the last question. As per nursing aides, do we need to be licensed to work in any states? Phyllis, for nurse aides, what you need is a CNA. We call it CNA certification. You don't need a USRN license if you're going to be working as a nurse aide. What you need is a certification. We call it CNA. Okay. Uh, thank you. Thank you all for joining. I wish we have more time. I'm really glad. I'm really happy. Interested to hear more of your questions. So thank you all for joining. For those questions that I haven't been able to answer, again, do me a favor, send us an email at licensure at healthstaff.org, and I'll be glad to answer all those for you. Okay, so again, thank you all for joining. I guess that's all we have for today's Q&A. Again, I'm sorry, I wish we have more time, but there's our email address, licensure at healthstaff.org. You should hear it from me within 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you all for joining. I hope you will also join our next week's Q&A. Thank you.